industry is increasingly looking for alternative sources to organic feedstock. Today, with Voices of the Industry, we will be diving into the potential of biomass as an alternative carbon-based feedstock. Bio-based chemicals in Europe account for about 5% of total chemical production, and their importance is only expected to grow. We are now on our way to Novamont, a company that was recently acquired by Versalis. By acquiring Novamont, Versalis has strengthened its position in the biochemical industry in line with their strategy towards sustainability and circularity. Novamont plant is based in Bottrighe in the Italian region of Veneto, where they produce butanediol directly from sugars through a fermentation process. If you want to know more about that, keep watching. Hello, thank you so much for having us here. Before we get started, could you share a few words about yourself?
Hi Jana, I am very happy that you are here in our plant. My name is Stefano Dessi, I am the plant manager here in the Novamont plant, and I am here since 11 years now.
And where exactly are we right now?
Actually, we are in the plant of Novamont that is producing the 1,4-butanediol.
What is butanediol?
Butanediol is a chemical compound that is used as intermediate in different fields, from the automotive to the textile industry to the electronic industry, and in a specific way in our company we are using it for the production of biodegradable plastics.
And how is butanediol produced at this site?
The butanediol here is produced by a fermentation process that converts sugars into 1,4-butanediol. So we changed a little bit the way of producing of this chemical compound that is generally produced from fossil feedstocks.
How does the production of butanediol fit into Novamont's company strategy?
So Jana, you can see our process here in a whole. So generally we start from sugars, from oils, okay, and from starch. And from these compounds we can generate the intermediate products. In our case, the 1,4-butanediol that is produced specifically in this plant. The 1,4-butanediol then is used for the polymerization, so sent to another plant where we will produce the final product that is a biodegradable and compostable plastics that is partially or completely coming from a biomass of vegetable origin. This plastics, bioplastics, is then used to produce other products, as you can see there, as for instance shoppers that are made of our product. And what is really the interest in our technology is that the bioplastics then going into composting units can be biodegraded in a very short period of time, becoming soil again.
In your production process, you use sugar as your raw material. Where does that come from?
All our sugar is coming from European suppliers, and the sugar is mainly coming from corn and wheat origin. For Novamont, it's very important to evaluate the sustainability of the raw material.
We will now meet with Enrico and Diego, who will tell us more about the operations on the site. Could you please run us through the process of producing butanediol?
Yes, the first part of the process is the fermentation. The fermentation occurs in the building there, in a bioreactor, in which we have to mix together water, sugar, mineral salts, and producing microbe that is a modified E. coli starting from a cryovial like this. This microorganism is able to convert the glucose into bio-butanediol. The second part of the process is the purification. So the pasteurized broth passes through different steps to remove the exhaust biomass, water, and all the impurities. And at the end of this part, we obtain this, that is the pure bio-butanediol. And now let me introduce my colleague Diego, that will explain you something more about the process.
Diego, could you tell us about the energy system here?
Yes, the plant needs both electricity and steam. So we have a cogeneration plant that produces electricity, then thermal energy for the production process. The plant has an overall efficiency of about 90%. We reuse the biomass produced for the fermentation and for the wastewater treatment plant in the biodigester. The biodigester produces biogas, and we treat all this biogas to produce biomethane that is sent to the national grid.
Stefano, your colleagues gave us a little bit of background about the technology of the project. Could you now give us some insight into the economic context?
Well, Jana, the context is quite positive right now. We have a situation of an evolution towards, let's say, sustainable and alternative products. More and more consumers are asking for, let's say, more sustainable products and sustainable technologies, and this is where we are moving now. So it's market-driven by consumers, and as well major companies are moving towards, let's say, alternative technologies, as you have seen during the visit on the site.
One of the ambitions outlined in the Clean Industrial Deal is the increase in use of bio-based materials and plastics. Do you see positive developments in that space?
Yes, it has been a long story now of positive developments. The support given by Brussels in terms of investments and technologies and so on is given. Products are out there on the market. What we miss is a little bit a legal framework which somehow captures all these investments which have been done. And legal framework means something which recognizes and drives the use of these bio-based polymers or chemicals or intermediates in order to give also a certain safe environment to the industry which has done a lot of investment and now is looking, let's say, for a certain legislative support in order to find, let's say, a consolidation of what has been done in terms of investment and in terms of industrial production.
We can imagine that a company like Novamont invests a lot in research and development. What are your current priorities in that area?
We did indeed invest a lot, and the priorities are, of course, to find solutions in terms of carbon footprint by using crops, sustainable crops from regenerative agriculture productions, by using waste streams, which can be from cellulose, from other waste streams, from food industry, and by considering the treatment of the products when they're not used anymore, by means that we have been always following organic recycling and composting, but as well we are developing technologies for chemical recycling and physical recycling.
What kind of public funding do you receive for research and innovation?
We get quite a broad variety of fundings, may they be national or European, which are of course of great support to our R&D activities. We are as well member of the Bio-Based Industry Consortium, which is a support, a catalyst to the circular economy we are actively developing here in Europe.
Stefano, thank you very much for your time. And now for our viewers, if there is a takeaway that they can have from this video, what would it be?
I would say that after many years and decades of heavy investments carried out by industry and by public fundings, we now need a more robust legal and legislative framework in order to further boost the development of these products and to create a more secure market environment.
Stefano, once again, thank you very much to you and your whole team for having us here.
Thank you. It was our pleasure having you visiting our plant.
That's it for today. Thank you for watching another episode of Voices of the Industry. And if you'd like to know what the chemical industry is doing on its way to the transition, stay tuned for more videos.